What is up, true believers? It's Mason here with Comics and Crosses, where we discuss the eternal truths behind our modern mythology. And today I am chatting about what's on the rack. What am I reading? What are some of the new reads from this week? And what do I think about them? So this will be fun. If you've done your reading, if you're up to date on these titles that came out, and feel free to jump in the comment section and tell me what you think. If you agreed or disagreed on some of the titles, and please subscribe, give me a thumbs up if you're liking the content, and feel free to share this with anybody else who might enjoy. So, some new titles that I picked up. I picked Punchline, the one-shot that came out from DC Comics. Also, The Amazing Spider-Man, one of my favorite reads this week. Also, we got American Ronin, We Only Find Them When They're Dead. Strange Academy, Deceased, Dead Planet, and Detective Comics as well coming out. And also, of course, a ton of Ten of Swords if you're following and reading along with the X-Men right now. So, let's get into it and discuss my thoughts. So first up, we got Punchline, number 1, Punchline issue 1. It's her own story, her own issue. She is, if you don't know, the new Harley Quinn, maybe a Harley Quinn for the current generation, I guess. A little more of a digital, social Harley Quinn. And I thought this issue was good. I think it is an interesting place to go in the story. Punchline allows a chance to kind of talk more about the influence that Joker would have on Gotham and on people, that there probably would be cultish type followers, kind of like if you saw The Dark Knight, how there were imitation Batmen that started fighting crime and taking up after Batman's example. In a similar twisted kind of way, you see that with Punchline as somebody who observed the Joker, maybe became obsessed with him, obsessed with understanding him. I mean, a similar downfall to Harley in a way, but different, unique. So this issue definitely gets into that. I'm following along with the character. I would say that Punchline doesn't really super excite me in any way. But she fits, she's working, she's taking the story in an interesting kind of direction, or, I think there's a lot going on in Batman's world right now that is playing off of the people, the public, and the image of Batman starting to backfire. We'll see that in Detective Comics as well. So following along in that vein, Detective Comics 1030 out this week. The cover has, I picked up cover A, it had Mirror Man, whatever his name is, on the cover, but the issue really wasn't about kind of confrontation between them. So, but yeah, we see more of this idea of the city rejecting supes, or capes, vigilantes, I guess you could say. So, where people are actually trying to trap the Bat family, even laying traps for them, and these are just normal people who are sick of seeing them in their city. The mayor who's running is anti-vigilante. So, things are really heating up in terms of public image and pressure against Batman. I'm liking to see it. I'm liking to explore it. It's kind of like, seems like a simple idea, but for those of us who've been reading Batman a long time, you might ask yourself, why hasn't this happened sooner? So I'm glad they're going there. It's actually a cool issue. What I'm really interested to see is where things go with Damian here, now that he is and I told myself I should have picked up that Teen Titan annual. Hopefully I can still find it, but I know that in the recent Teen Titan annual, Damian decided to quit being Robin, to leave Batman, and so now we're seeing that play out here in Detective Comics. He's stolen Bruce's case file, and some interesting things are happening, so that's kind of fun. I want to see what they do with that. Okay, we'll keep it on the DC side, and next up is Deceased, Dead Planet, issue 5 of 7. So I was just starting to get a little tired of the Deceased universe and this whole storyline. Deceased was great. I mean, a fascinating read for any longtime DC reader, just to see the scenarios. Unkillables was cool. It was a cool story, little 3-piece story. And then Dead Planet, has been interesting. I mean, it was definitely concept, the heroes returning to Earth and kind of seeing how things are, seeing John as Superman, Damian as Batman, and I guess Cassie is Wonder Woman. Hasn't she been Supergirl, like Wonder Girl forever? Anyway, I don't know. They mess with the timeline and continuities, and there's crises and there's rebirths and new 50 whatever. Yeah, so I did like this issue, though. I'm liking the way that John Constantine is being kind of used and has kind of oddly become like almost our hero in all of this. I feel like the other characters are kind of doing small things or side things or fighting immediate issues, and somehow Constantine seems to be the man with the plan in this hour. But hey, awesome. Let's see where it goes. And yeah, so I think, there's 2 more issues. I think I'm going to write it out, just complete this arc, and that'll be that. Also, we got Amazing Spider-Man 52 that's out this week, and Spider-Man Peter Parker finally comes face to face with Kindred. So this is something that's been building up a long time. I only just jumped back into Spider-Man around 850. I think I got issue 48 from there, because somebody had mentioned kind of a dilemma that Peter had and whether or not he was going to let Kindred or Sin Eater take out Norman Osborn. And so yeah, there's been some interesting, exciting things happening. I mean, that big 850 issue was fun. Legacy 850, it was really issue 49. But yeah, this was a cool issue. This was one of my favorite issues of the week, and because it was a very intense, all-out fight, kind of pushing Peter to his limits, and that's what you want to see. I mean, I think Peter Parker's somebody who's suffered a lot in the Marvel Universe and over the years, and I think as readers we kind of want to see him pushed to new places and face new challenges. So I feel like we really got that with this issue. I mean, this is a strong adversary that he didn't really know, and so he's still trying to figure out what's happening, and we see Peter kind of in this emotional state that just I feel like this is the first battle, and there will be another one later, and that Peter just wasn't ready in this case. But really cool, the artwork. Gleason, yeah, I'm not even super familiar with what other stuff he's done, but great artwork in this issue. Like I said, an intense battle. I really loved it. If you're into Spider-Man, then cool. Hopefully you're enjoying this too. I'm not reading the LR issues, the Last Remains tie-ins, because from what I've heard, they haven't been really impressive or super important, so I'm just going with the main story, and that's me personally. Strange Academy number 5 is out this week. I was really excited considering where issue 4 left us. It introduced the Hollow, who seems to be some sort of order of magic users or magic worshippers or something, who are very personally perturbed by the fact that the Strange Academy has opened and that children are being trained in the ways of magic. I'm not reading it, but it kind of sounds like the whole cradle idea that's going on in Marvel with their young superheroes, but so this group may be a long-time adversary. I picked up the A cover of issue 4 and the Timeless variant last month with Wanda on it, so because I think it could be a big issue. I'm just kind of holding on to that one. We'll see how big this title becomes and how significant. So issue 5 was fun, was cool. We see some relationships kind of develop further amongst the group, and in particular with Doyle Dormammu and Emily, and but nothing crazy. They're still high school kids, I guess. But yeah, so this kind of brings things to a head, and I think next issue will be kind of the big knockdown, drag-out fight between the Hollow and our group, or perhaps there'll be some kind of intervention. I'm sure there probably will be. But fun series if you're not reading it. It's just good, clean fun. A ton of characters, very magical, kind of Harry Potter-y-ish, like, quasi. So, anyway, try it out. We're 5 issues in. There's a lot of third and fourth prints and stuff because it's been a popular series. So, maybe check it out. American Ronin issue 2 is out this week. Also, really cool title. I really enjoyed the first issue. It is a hitman spy, kind of with heightened abilities, like genetically modified. The story of a assassin who worked for a major corporation and has gone rogue or gone Ronin and is now trying to, we don't know exactly all of his motivations, but he's taking out people involved with this corporation and kind of fighting back to them. So cool issue 2 here. I think it gets deeper into his maneuvering and what he's trying to do and pits him against somebody now who seems like is going to be a real challenge for him. So this is only a 5-part series, but I'm really enjoying the writing. I'm enjoying the story and where it's going. It's pretty interesting, has me captivated. So if you're able to get a hold of the AWA Upshot title, American Ronin, I suggest you check it out. It's a lot of fun so far. I will briefly mention here with 10 of Swords, I am not caught up. I am on part 12, and I think we're up to part 16 as of this week, because there's 2 or 3 that come out every week. But 10 of Swords, really cool story. I mean, if you're not into it already, it may be too late, or wait for an omnibus or something, or trades, because it's helpful to know Dawn of X and Powers of 10. And then, and then maybe you could jump into this, but there is some stuff in between, I guess. I'm only reading the main X-Men title, other than now reading this 10 of Swords, which has been a really cool, very grand, big story, and it's, for where I'm at in the story at part 12, it's starting to come to an head. The X-Men have showed up with their swords now, and something big is going to go down, so it's to be seen, so check it out if you're into a cool X-Men story. I think it starts off pretty confusing. There's a lot of info going on, as with a lot of Hickman writing, but worth it as we're getting into the story here. Lastly, another title for the week is We Only Find Them When They're Dead, issue 3. So, this title I was very excited about when it came out. Issue 1 was my very first comic review, and so I went a little in depth on that one. Issue 2 was kind of a dip for me. Not a lot happened. It seemed like we got a little bit more about the dynamic of the crew and their relationships together. So I was really looking for issue 3 to kind of progress the story forward. Because issue 1 kicked off with a bang, things were moving and happening, and then it really just came down real slow in issue 2. So issue 3 for me, at first I was unsure. It kind of seemed like half of the issue seemed like more of the same, just stuck in this confrontation in warp speed with Richter, I think, chasing them, but then it leads to a really big moment in issue 3 that makes me, like I'm coming back for issue 4 for sure. So I was kind of disappointed with issues 2 and into 3 a bit. Kind of seemed like things were just kind of hovering all around this one thing happening, basically them being chased, which kind of could start to feel a little silly, like The Last Jedi, where they're going into warp speed and chasing each other, and it's just kind of like, okay, let's let this cat and mouse thing end. And so, but it did finally in this issue, and so yeah, We Only Find Them When They're Dead. I know a lot of people who are not into this title because they just don't like sci-fi, or they picked up issue 1 and weren't really sure about it. I think over time it's going to be something that goes to some cool places. At least I'm hoping. I mean, I love the Immortal Hulk series by Al Ewing, so I'm kind of hanging on here and believing for big things. Issue 1 was definitely cool for me, and I think the story's starting to go somewhere now. So hopefully it'll really pay off here in the next couple issues, and we'll go to some cool places, some interesting, exciting storytelling. But that's yet to be seen. Okay guys, thanks for hanging out and talking comics with me. Next week we got some titles like Immortal Hulk, Amazing Spider-Man, Fantastic Four. From DC, we got Batman coming out again. Not sure about Boom and Image and AWA. Those guys are a little harder to figure out on their website what's coming out every week. But regardless, there's some other good things I'm reading. So hopefully we can check in again next week. And stay cool, people. Talk to you later.